Coming up on Michigan Replay Rose Bowl Preview, we'll look back on a Michigan streak that also happens to be the longest in the country. We'll also talk about a pair of Wolverines who've grown up very fast as they enter their first Rose Bowl. And we'll talk about the advantages of an extra year by choice. And what does Texas have to say about these Wolverines that they'll meet in Pasadena? We'll find out. All that and more coming up on Michigan Replay Rose Bowl Preview. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.
Hi everybody and welcome to Michigan Replay, our Rose Bowl preview, and Merry Christmas to you all. Lloyd, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Jim, on a beautiful sunshiny day.
It is. You're here at the Home Depot Center in California. This is a great practice facility to get ready for the Rose Bowl.
Well, I think it's the best practice facility that I've ever been to, and hopefully it'll help us on New Year's Day.
One of the things about it, you didn't come out as early as you have in the past to get ready for the Rose Bowl. Has it been going all right? Is that what you feel you're getting what you need out of this?
Well, you've been to practice. What do you think?
Well, I think your practice was good, but you came out usually like sometimes 3-4 days extra of two-a-days, not this year.
Jim, part of that is our final exams were extended because we had a mid-semester break in there, Monday and Tuesday during the season, no classes, so that extended exams. But I think we would have waited a little bit later to come out anyway. We're practicing once a day, the 23rd and 24th. So I like what we've done so far.
Kids are fresher?
Yeah, I think we got a little bit more practice in Ann Arbor, and so I think we're in good shape. We just got to continue to polish what we're doing.
You know, Lloyd, that this is the 30th straight bowl game Michigan is going to?
Well, it's...
And do you know that that's the longest streak in the country, surpassing Nebraska?
Well, Jim, you know, I think anybody that's been a part of that, and even those guys that should have been in bowl games earlier, where that streak should be longer, as you well know. But I think it's a tribute to the guys that have played at Michigan, and because that is quite an impressive statistic.
It is indeed. And Michigan Replay is going to take you back, take a look at some of the key games during that 30-year bowl run.
The streak started on January 1st of 1976 when Bo Schembechler took his Michigan team to the first non-Rose Bowl in school history when the Wolverines met Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. The Sooners won the game 14-6 as freshman quarterback Rick Leach was knocked out for a portion of the game, and a late Wolverine comeback fell short. Oklahoma was awarded the national title the next day. The first Wolverine win during the bowl streak came in the Rose Bowl of 1981. It was Schembechler's first bowl victory, and it came against Washington in a game where Butch Woolfolk was named the game's MVP thanks to a 182-yard day. Stan Edwards, the father of current Wolverine Braylon Edwards, put the finishing touches on the victory with a 1-yard leap for the 23-6 Michigan win. One of the major non-Rose Bowl wins during the streak came in the 1986 Fiesta Bowl. The Wolverines had fashioned a 9-1-1 record heading into the game against a highly regarded Nebraska team. Michigan would fall behind 14-3 after the first half as the Cornhuskers were dominant, but in the third quarter, the Wolverines exploded for 24 unanswered points. Michigan's defense forced 3 turnovers during the run, and Jimmy Harbaugh scored twice as the Wolverines won the game 27-23 and wound up as the nation's number 2 ranked team in the major polls behind Oklahoma. In 1998, maybe the biggest win of the streak occurred in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. Entering the game unbeaten and as the nation's top-ranked team, the Wolverines took on Washington State with a national title at stake. On offense, Brian Greasy and Ty Street hooked up twice on big scoring plays to keep Michigan out in front. And on the defensive side, it was the incomparable Heisman winner Charles Woodson who helped keep Washington State at bay. In the end, the Wolverines prevailed 21-16 as Lloyd Carr and Michigan won the national title with their Rose Bowl win. Maybe the most exciting of the 30 bowl games in the streak came on January 1st of the year 2000. Remember the Orange Bowl? And Tom Brady going off for 369 yards passing on a 34-46 night that included 3 scoring strikes to David Terrell. And who will forget the overtime when Brady threw his 4th TD pass of the night, only to see Alabama come back minutes later and score themselves? But no one will forget that the Crimson Tide missed the extra point and Michigan would come away with a heart-stopping 35-34 win to usher in the new millennium.
30 straight years with a bowl game and the Rose Bowl here in 2005. And
You started that streak.
I was involved. But you mentioned before we went to the feature, in 68 through 74, Michigan only went to 2 games. They were both Rose Bowls, but they had records good enough at the time that they could have gone to bowl games. The streak could be longer.
Jim, I was a high school coach. I remember the athletic directors in the Big Ten Conference when Denny Franklin got hurt in the Ohio State game, even though it ended up, I think, in a 10-10 tie. That really precipitated, I think, the movement. Bo was so upset. I can remember seeing on TV an interview.
And he still is bitter about that vote.
Well, it's interesting. I asked him a year or so ago what was the greatest disappointment in his coaching career at Michigan, and he said that vote when that team did not get to go to the Rose Bowl.
Well, you're at the Rose Bowl this year, and it should be a dandy against Texas. When we come back, we'll talk about getting freshmen ready for a big game. But first, we hear from 2 big freshmen, Chad Henne and Michael Hart, about their first Rose Bowl experience.
We played in a lot of great stadiums and a lot of close games, and this is another big one, and just got to go out and play like every other one.
It's great, because those teams you always see, playing for national championships and stuff like that, Texas or Michigan, and it's just fun that we get to play them. And their defense they're real athletic, they're a great team, so it's gonna be a hard one. It's gonna be a great game.
And now a Michigan moment. Through their support of Michigan football, Chevrolet and your Detroit area Chevy dealers gave our fans the chance to win a brand new Chevy Equinox. At our final home game this season, one lucky fan drove away the winner. Gary Bistro!
Come on, Gary. Come on, Gary.
Gary! Gary!
We have a winner! Gary Bistro! I want to thank everybody for participating and watching today's event.
The Detroit area Chevy dealers, Chevrolet, and General Motors had a great relationship with Michigan this year, and thanks everybody for coming out.
Imagine going into a season where 2 key positions, quarterback and running back, are true freshmen. That's a lot of pressure on the kids and the coaches. Fred Jackson is the running backs coach, and he had to get Mike Hart ready fast. And Jackson says he worked with Hart on one thing very hard.
Patience was the number one thing. Number one thing, because he is see a read, and as opposed to take the secondary read, normally I give him a reaction key. I mean a read and then a reaction key, and then you got a burst. Well, he would read and then burst without reacting to what actually happened. That was a big thing for about a month.
For quarterback coach Scott Leffler, it was working with Chad Henne, another true freshman who would be the quarterback. For Leffler to just get Henne started calling the plays right was a huge job.
Harvey, far west right slot, flanker right, 322 Y stick. And that's generally a small play. Anywhere between 12 and 14 words is what he has to spit out of his mouth. And the difficult thing is receiving that information from the sideline. Being able to receive the signal from the sideline and then translate that material to the huddle. It's challenging.
Challenging indeed, but Henne mastered the verbiage easily. Some things were a bit harder. Even though Leffler and offensive coordinator Terry Malone kept the offensive package to the basics in the early going, Henne still had an area where he really needed work.
Decisiveness. There's a few times where he was dropping in the pocket, and we took some sacks this year that we shouldn't have took. The ball should have been thrown away, should have scrambled to make a play. So probably decisiveness in the pocket when the play breaks down.
Against Texas in the Rose Bowl, both of these freshmen will have to step it up even more than they have. Both of their position coaches are not worried. They're very comfortable with their young stars entering the fishbowl that is the Rose Bowl.
There's no doubt. And the way that we're approaching this game is he's a sophomore now, and Clayton Richard is a junior now. Matt Gutierrez is a senior. What we're going to do is kind of probably let those guys go a little bit more than what we have. They've got great experience, and we'll see what happens in Pasadena. But it's going to be a great football game. This Texas team's outstanding, and hopefully the playmakers around us keep making plays, and the offensive line keeps doing the job they've done.
He's got to play the game faster because they are so much faster. And a lot of the things that he's done and sort of had patience in, he's going to have to increase his patience. He's going to have to move quicker with it. I mean, that's in the run and in the protections. And and I think he can do it because he's that smart.
Well, both Fred Jackson and Scott Leffler did a great job of getting those two freshmen ready, but those kids had to be ready too. They've done a great job.
Well, they really have, Jim. When you consider the pressure that they're under, all of the things that they had to learn to get ready just to be able to know what the play was, it's remarkable.
And going from freshmen to seniors, seniors must lead, and this team had a great group to get you to the Rose Bowl, didn't they?
I don't think there's any question, and I don't think there's ever been a team that didn't have great leadership that got here.
Well, 3 of those seniors had an opportunity to go pro last year, but didn't. They turned their backs on pro money. That was David Boss, Marlon Jackson, and Braylon Edwards. And the reason they did it was because sometimes there's some things more important than money.
You know, I just went and picked up my cap and gown and my graduation tickets, and that was the main reason for coming back.
Clearly for David Boss, coming back to Michigan and turning down the pro opportunity to get his degree was worth it. For Boss, Braylon Edwards, and Marlon Jackson, it was a huge decision. They turned their backs on a lot of money to come back. But money isn't everything. Braylon says this past year helped him learn more about himself, something he feels he really needed.
You know, some people don't need that extra. Some people, you know, through their situations at home, when they come to college, they're already a little bit older than other guys in the sense that their mindset. But mine wasn't that way, and you know, in turn, I needed all 4 years, but it's paid off for me.
Boss, who won the Remington Award as the country's best center this past season, is convinced that the positives far outweigh the negatives in coming back for that final season of the college experience.
Staying only creates, you know, positive things. I've had no regrets from staying. I've only gotten better. You know, it's only helped me improve, you know, win awards, all that stuff. Being around the guys, you know, it's not individualistic. You know, it's really, you get that unselfishness sort of feeling. Everybody wants the same thing. And it's not about money or, you know, all the other factors. It's about winning and playing for each other and having fun.
Marlon Jackson echoes the same sentiments. Those extra 12 months to mature and grow as a player and a person makes an incredible difference.
Come back for this extra year, you know, learning things, how to be a leader, really just, like you said, it lets you know that you are ready. There's no question about it. Maybe last year you might have had, you know, doubts in your mind, or are you ready? But now there's no doubt at all, and there's no doubt in any of our minds that we're ready to go to the next level. It's a life decision, not a career, not football. It's about life. That's what I would tell somebody. You know, make the right decision that's best for your life down the road. And I think that's what we all did. You know, we wanted to all come back and not as well as we wanted to get our degrees, not just play football. We wanted to graduate, and we're all on track to do that, and we're all going to do that.
All 3 of these Wolverines have benefited greatly from their extra year. All were named All-Americans. Braylon added the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver. But they also came back to win, and they did. A second straight Big Ten title and another shot at the Rose Bowl. Last year's loss in Pasadena didn't set well with these 3, and the extra year gives them all a second chance to make it right.
It was definitely disappointing, and you don't want to walk off that field, you know, twice in a row with that, you know, taste in your mouth, and you want victory. You want to be able to sing the victors in the locker room at the Rose Bowl, because winning out there is something special, and I haven't experienced it yet.
We know what to expect now going to this Rose Bowl. Last year, you know, we were kind of got down there wide-eyed. You know, everything is new, just excited, just happy to be there. There's no longer a feeling of that. You know, we have a goal. We're determined to go down here and not just win, but to play well.
You know, we came back, myself and Marlon, we said we couldn't leave on last year's note. You know, we didn't play well as a team in the Rose Bowl, and we went out there and we weren't prepared to do the things necessary to win that game. Now that we've been out there and we've given them a second chance, a second bite at the apple, you know, we know what it's about, and we're going to go in through the mindset that we are a better team, and we're going to play hard, practice hard, and it's going to show on January 1st.
It was great to see those 3 kids come back, but more importantly, Lloyd, it was great to hear them say that their experience as a senior coming back, they wouldn't trade for that extra year in the NFL.
Well, Jim, it is, I think it's a breath of fresh air for college football. I think it makes a great statement about not only those kids, about the University of Michigan.
But is the fact that they learn things. That's a valuable year.
Well, there's no question. You can't buy that year. And what they've done and what they've been able to accomplish, and I think what their legacies will be is really a special part of our program.
You bet it is. When we come back, we'll talk about those Texas Longhorns. But before we do, we hear from Pat Massey and Roy Manning about what it's going to take to stop Texas.
it's no secret. It's absolutely the run. It's about stopping the run, and yeah, the quarterback and the running back, you know, the two keys. So we got a big challenge ahead of us.
They're a running team. They like to line up and come at you, and we know that. We've seen it on film. They got some big guys up there blocking for Cedric Benson, so that's going to be the key to this game, getting them into a passing game.
Because it's the Big 12 school, you know, I never played a Big 12 school. Texas, we haven't played Texas before, so I think it's a big thing here.
Now, like Ernest Shazar said, you're playing a Big 12 team in this Rose Bowl, not a Pac-10 team, but playing Big 12 is kind of fun because Michigan normally doesn't meet a Big 12 team.
Well, it's made for great press in California, Jim, that's for sure, and really all over the country, but I do think it is a great matchup.
It is a great matchup indeed, and from a Texas perspective, the coaches and players are all saying the right things. As a matter of fact, Texas coach Mack Brown was recently at an award ceremony, and he had a chance to meet Michigan's 4 All-Americans up close and personal, and he was impressed.
As proud as I was at the ESPN Awards to be with Derek and Cedric, I thought it was great. Then I said, who is that giant? And that was the center at Michigan, David Goss. And then Braylon Edwards came over and introduced himself, and I said, hey, Braylon, how are you? So it's like that. And then the two young guys, well, the safety was there, Shazar, who I thought was a defensive end. He's so big and strong. But Michigan's always a talented team and a very well-coached team. And they're a team that was disappointed in the way they finished their last game, and then they'll come in angry, and that's a great challenge for us.
For Texas linebacker Derek Johnson, the 2004 Butkus Award winner, Michigan will be a challenge indeed, but he also feels very comfortable the way his defense is playing coming into this game.
This year, we'll go into the game a little bit more confident due to what we've done this season, and we've been able to stop people from running the ball, stop people from passing the ball, and this team can do both, so it's going to be a great game to test a lot of guys on this defense, and we're going to come up big to win this game. They're going to test us a lot. It's going to be a hard task to stop that passing game, and due to the running game too. So it's going to be good, and we can't wait.
For Longhorn quarterback Vince Young, a mobile and dangerous runner, Michigan's defense seems predictable. He feels they will concentrate on stopping tailback Cedric Benson and himself, which will leave other options open.
I mean, they try to stop me instead, be it back there in the running game, so I'm going to go up into the air with the guys, and them guys, the young guys, are getting more confidence as the week's been going. They looking real good right now, so we want to give them guys more opportunity as well in the offense right now. They like to put their linebackers on our tight end. We're going to try to take advantage of that a whole lot. Just go out there and play our game, what we've been doing for these past weeks, just going hard with them and getting physical.
Well, obviously, Vince Young of Texas thinks it's kind of a man-to-man game. He thinks he's got your defense figured out. Will it be more man-to-man against them?
Well, Jim, I just hope we tackle this guy. He's a great athlete, truly. And when you put Cedric Benson in the same backfield, won the Doak Walker Award, certainly I think it's as great a challenge as our defense has had this year.
Well, we'll talk more about that challenge when we come back, but first we hear from Matt Lentz, who says the key against Texas is the run game.
Well, personally, as an offensive line, we think it's the key to the game. So, I mean, that's one question to ask. But Michigan's always come down to running the ball and passing the ball. So, you know, it's up to us to get the running game going so we can be that balanced offense.
I think it is a run game because, you know, with us, you know, if we get stuck in a situation where we're passing every down, we're not effective. But if we can get first down and second down, get some good yardage in the run game, I think it opens our passing game up a lot because they have to respect both games, and we get some matchups that we really like.
Welcome back to our final segment of Michigan Replay Rose Bowl Preview. Tim Massaquoi, we just heard, is really right. This game for you offensively is about balance with the run setting up the pass, isn't it?
Well, Jim, you got to be able to run the football so that you can stay out of 3rd and long. And on 3rd and long, you got to be able to protect the quarterback. I think those are the two big things. We got to stay away from turning the football over.
That's the thing, I think, in a game like this, is turnovers have such an emotional change to the game. That's where you really got to make sure that you play clean and force them to get some turnovers.
Jim, I really do expect that the fact that Texas is from the Southwest, the Big 12 conference,
The old Southwest, you're showing your age.
Yes, I am. But the fact that this is not, I do not believe, going to be a biased crowd. I think we're going to have as much fan support as Texas, probably more.
A little bit different.
Which makes the momentum, and as you mentioned, all the changes in the game, a little bit different.
So not playing a Pac-10 team, this makes it a little bit different from a crowd standpoint, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and particularly when it's not a California USC.
One of the things that has hurt Michigan over the past weeks of the regular season was that running quarterback. I'm sure you've read about it. Defensive.
No, I saw it.
I know you said about it, but a lot of people have written about it too.
Well, there's no question.
You've got to shore that up with this guy Young, don't you?
Absolutely, and our team knows that. I think we've had a lot of time to prepare. I think we're all looking forward to see how we respond, because certainly we understand the problems we've had. Let's see now if we can correct them.
Okay, last question. We do this every bowl show. The one thing folks at home who don't get a chance to come out and see the game, that watch on New Year's afternoon, the one thing you can tell them inside stuff on how the game's going, if this happens or if this doesn't happen.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us in the kicking game, we've got to establish some field position so that we don't have to drive so far for touchdowns. We don't want to give Texas any easy touchdowns. I think that's the biggest thing. If you look back at our 2 losses in both those games, we gave up big plays for touchdowns. One of them, of course, in the kicking game.
Lloyd, good luck on New Year's Day and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Jim.
And from all of us at Michigan Replay, Happy New Year, everyone, and go Blue for 2005.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Chevrolet. Stop by your Detroit area Chevy dealers or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services.